All right, guys, we are 8-0 with a push in our last 9 daily best plays on patreon.com/Brock Page. And the good news is we have another $1.99 daily best play going off here today. But before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the video. My name is Brock Page and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. I also sell my personal sports bets on patreon.com/Brock Page. Once again, guys, I'm 8-0 with a push in my last 9 $1.99 daily best plays on that website. And just remember, guys, if you sign up for my $1.99 daily best play here today, you're going to get access to that membership every single day all the way through the end of May. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. What I do on patreon.com/Brock Page is I actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. Now, we currently have over 805 members who are signed up and active on that website right now. And if you want to see my current sports betting record, you can do that for free right now by going to the homepage at patreon.com/Brock Page. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to take a look at the Rockies taking on the Pirates, 6:35 Eastern first pitch. On Tuesday, May 24th, 2022, Pittsburgh is minus 120, totals 8 runs. Roansy Contreras for Pittsburgh, Kyle Freeland for Colorado. And even though Freeland's having a tough year thus far, he does have 34 strikeouts on the season. The Rockies are also doing a nice job hitting the baseball. They're currently leading the league right now in team batting average. And they're also averaging nearly 5 runs a game. C.J. Cron's batting .321 with 11 homers and 32 RBI. Matter of fact, Cron is currently in the top 10 in home runs, RBI, and OPS. Meanwhile, Connor Joe's hitting .285 along with 65 total bases. They're taking on a Pittsburgh team who lost 5 out of their last 7 themselves. And they do a pretty terrible job hitting the baseball. These guys are averaging only 3.3 runs a game this year. They're actually amongst the worst in the National League right now in team batting average. Meanwhile, pitching-wise, the Pirates are allowing nearly 6 runs a game for the year. When it comes to the total in this one, Pittsburgh's going 15-8 to the under at PNC Park. Matter of fact, the Buccos are currently 61% to the under for the entire season. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Colorado plus $1. And the under 8 runs. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Cubs taking on the Reds, 6:40 Eastern first pitch. Now both teams are minus $110 with the total at 8. Marcus Stroman for Chicago, Tyler Mahle for Cincinnati. And even though Mahle's had a handful of dicey starts, he still has a couple of wins on the year along with 44 strikeouts. As a matter of fact, the righty's averaging slightly over a strikeout an inning. And when the Reds are playing at home, the Cincinnati pitching staff has actually done a fairly nice job in the Great American Ballpark. They currently rank in the top 5 in the majors right now in fewest home hits allowed. They're taking on a Chicago club on the other side of things, who actually lost 4 out of their last 6. And they do a poor job at the plate while traveling. The Cubbies currently find themselves in the bottom 10 in road scoring, and they also strike out an awful lot at the plate away from home as well. Now, pitching-wise, Marcus Stroman is taking the mound here today, and he has not been too great. He's just 1-4 in the season with a .488 ERA. Now, when it comes to the total on this one, Chicago's 11-8 to the under when they travel. They also saw 6 out of their last 10 meetings with Cincinnati fall under the total as well. I'm going to lean toward the Reds minus $110 and the under 8 runs. Next ball game, it is going to be Marlins taking on the Rays, 6:40 p.m. East. Tampa Bay is minus 140, total 6.5. Shane O'Mac for the Rays. Pablo Lopez for Miami. That's Shane McClanahan, by the way. Shane O'Mac. You know. Anyway, Pablo Lopez. He's having one heck of a year. 4-1 record. 157 ERA. The righty's also got 48 strikeouts and a whip of just .91. And when it comes to giving up hits, this Marlins pitching staff doesn't do that a whole lot. They're actually in the top 3 in the majors right now in fewest road hits allowed per contest. They're taking on a Tampa squad who lost 2 out of their last 3. And they've had a tough time cashing in on the run line at home. The Rays are currently just 8-14 against the number at the Trop. And that's good for only 36% in that category. Now, total-wise, the Rays are 64% to the under in their own stadium. Meanwhile, the Marlins are currently 12-6 to the under when they bat first. I'm going to lean toward Miami plus 1.5, keeping this one close. And the under 6.5 runs. Next ball game, Dodgers Nationals, 7:05 East. The LA Dodgers are minus 220, totals 8.5. Walker Buehler for Los Angeles, Josiah Gray for Washington. And even though Gray's got a handful of wins, he's definitely got them ugly. He got those wins ugly. He currently has an ERA of 4.36, along with a 1.27 whip. And even if Gray throws a gem, the Nats have really struggled to score in the Capitol. They're currently in the bottom 3 in baseball right now in home scoring. They're taking on Walker Buehler here today, who's 5-1 with a 2.89 ERA. When it comes to wins and losses, the Dodgers have actually gotten the W in 8 out of their last 9 outings. And they're currently led by Freddie Freeman, who's batting .310 with 23 runs batted in. And speaking of RBI, Trey Turner's in the top 10 in the league in RBI with 32 of them. When it comes to the hitting in this one, the Dodgers are currently leading the majors in offensive OPS. Now, when it comes to the number in this one, the Dodgers are 14-7 to the under on the road. Meanwhile, Washington's 71% to the under in Nationals Park. I'm going to lean toward the LA Dodgers minus 1.5 and the under 8.5 runs. Next ball game, it is going to be Orioles taking on the Yankees, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. The New York Yankees are minus 260, total 7.5. Jordan Montgomery for New York, Bruce Zimmerman for Baltimore. And despite some great outings for Bruce this year, the O's do play pretty bad on the road. They've gotten the W in just 6 out of 20 road games. They're also in the bottom 5 in road scoring. They're also taking on Jordan Montgomery here today, who's got a 3.35 ERA and a 1.12 whip. Now, offensively, the Yankees are hitting more home runs than any other team in the majors. Aaron Judge leads the Bigs in home runs with 17 of them. Meanwhile, Giancarlo Stanton and Anthony Rizzo, they each have double-digit home runs apiece. Now, total-wise, oddly enough, New York's 60% to the under in their last 10 outings. Meanwhile, Baltimore's 13-7 to the under when they bat first. The O's are also 65% to the under for the entire season at any location. I'm going to lean toward the New York Yankees minus 1.5 and the under 7.5 runs. Next matchup, it is going to be Phillies Braves, 7:20 East. Atlanta's minus $1.70, totals 8.5. Max Fried for Atlanta, Kyle Gibson for Philadelphia. Gibby's 3-2 on the year with a 3.98 ERA and 37 strikeouts. And as a team, the Phillies have cashed in on the run line in their last 4 straight road games. Now, offensively, Bryce Harper is batting nearly .300 with 9 home runs and 27 RBI. Meanwhile, Kyle Schwarber's got 10 home runs along with 22 runs batted in as well. Now, when it comes to this Philadelphia lineup, we're actually in the top 5 in the Bigs right now in team batting average. They're taking on an Atlanta squad who really doesn't pitch all that well as a unit. They're in the bottom 10 in runs allowed per contest, and they're also amongst the worst in the Bigs in hits allowed per game at home. Now, total-wise, when it comes to the number in this one, This game is being featured as my extra daily bet on patreon.com/BrockPage. And that play is only going to cost you just $2.99. I'm currently 10-3 in my last 13 bets in that particular package. And if you want to see whether I'm pounding the over or the under in this one, there's only one way to find out, and that's to sign up for my extra daily bet on patreon.com/BrockPage. And the link for that bet is in the description section below. But as far as making a free pick is concerned, I'm going to lean toward Philadelphia plus 1.5, getting the job done for some run line cash. All right, next ball game I have for you. It is going to be Tigers taking on the Twins. 7:40 Eastern start time. Minnesota's minus 260, totals 8 runs. Sonny Gray for Minnesota, Bo Breesky for Detroit. And even though Breesky stinks, the Tigers did get the W in 5 out of their last 9. And they also have a winning record against the run line on the road. Now they're taking on a Minnesota club who struggles cashing in on the run line at home themselves. As a matter of fact, Minnesota has covered in only 9 out of 22 home games. And they've also struck out a whole lot of times at the plate in the process. Now when it comes to the scoring in this one, total-wise, if you want to see whether I'm betting on the over or the under in this one, this game's being featured as my board member tier package bet on patreon.com/BrockPage. And just remember, guys, if you sign up for my board member tier package bet here today, you're going to get access to that package every single day, all the way through the end of May. And as an added bonus here, guys, board members also get access to every single bet and every single package that I offer on that website every single day, all the way through the end of May as well. The board member package is an all-inclusive membership. It's the best package that I offer. But as far as making a free pick goes for this contest, I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Tigers plus 1.5, getting the job done for some run line cash. All right, next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Blue Jays Cardinals, 7:45 East. I'll tell you what a finish last night. Now Toronto's minus 135 with the total at 7.5. Kevin Gausman for the Blue Jays, Jordan Hicks for St. Louis. Now, Hicks has had a couple of rough outings, although he is averaging over a strikeout an inning. The Cards are also on a 4-game winning streak, and of course, they got the W last night in very emphatic fashion, very dramatic fashion. Paul Goldschmidt, slammed a grand slam in extra innings to give them the W. Goldschmidt, he's got 7 home runs on the year already, along with 33 RBI. Goldie's actually in the top 10 in the league right now in batting average, RBI, and OPS. And when it comes to the scoring, well, there's only one other team in the majors right now who's doing it better than St. Louis. These guys score a lot of runs. Now, the Cards are taking on a Toronto squad who's been struggling at the plate themselves. They're averaging less than 3.7 runs per contest. They're amongst the worst in the American League in team batting average. Despite some pretty good stuff out of Kevin Gausman, the righty's got himself a record of just 3-3. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Toronto's last 4 interleague ball games fell under the number. They're also 27-15 to the under for the whole year. Meanwhile, the Cardinals have held Toronto to just 3.6 runs a game in their last 10 head-to-head meetings. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. I'm going to lean towards St. Louis plus $1.15 and the under 7.5. Next matchup, Red Sox, White Sox, 8:10 p.m. East. Chicago's minus 165, total 7.5. Dylan Cease for Chicago, Nick Pivetta for Boston. Now, Nicky P's got a couple of wins on the year, along with a 1.15 whip. Now, Pivetta's also got 41 strikeouts in just over 42 innings of work. Now, the red-hot Bo Sox have won their last 5 straight, and they also got the W in 8 out of their last 10. Rafael Devers is hitting .335 with 9 home runs and 101 total bases. Now, Devers is currently in the top 10 in the majors in both batting average and OPS. Meanwhile, JD Martinez is 4th in the bigs with a .349 batting average and also has 15 doubles. Needless to say, this Bo Sox lineup is amongst the best in the American League in road scoring. They're taking on a White Sox team who doesn't score a whole lot themselves. These guys are averaging only 3.6 runs a game this year, and they're currently dead last in offensive walks at the plate. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Chicago's last 5 did get over the line. Meanwhile, Boston went 9-1 to the over in their last 10 themselves, depending on where you shopped at. I'm going to lean toward Boston plus $1.45 and the over 7.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Guardians Astros 8:10 p.m. East. Houston's minus $1.95, totals 8 runs. Framber Valdez for Houston, Zach Plesac for Cleveland. And even though Plesac hasn't been superb, the Guardians did win 2 out of their last 3 ball games, and they do a fine job of hitting on the road. Matter of fact, Cleveland's in the top 5 in road scoring, and they're led by Jose Ramirez, who has a league-best 41 RBI. Now, Ramirez is also in the top 10 in the bigs in both home runs and OPS. They're taking on a Houston club who really doesn't hit all that well at home. The Astros are currently in the bottom 5 in the bigs right now in home scoring per contest. And when it comes to cashing in on the run line, the Astros failed to cover in 6 out of their last 10 ball games. And they also have a losing record against the run line at Minute Maid Park. Now, total-wise, Houston's gone 14-4 to the under in front of their home fans this year. As a matter of fact, the Astros are currently 74% to the under for the entire season. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Cleveland plus 1.5, keeping this one close, and the under 8 runs. Next matchup, it is going to be Rangers Angels 9:38 East. Los Angeles is minus 150, totals 8 runs. Noah Syndergaard for the Angels, Dane Dunning for Texas. And even though Dunning's looked pretty good in a handful of starts, the righty has just 1 win on the year. And when it comes to wins and losses, the Rangers lost 3 out of their last 4. They've also got themselves a losing record on the road. They're taking on an Angels club on the other side of things, who's led by Mike Trout, who's got a dozen home runs on the year, along with a 1.133 OPS. Now, Trout's actually 2nd in the bigs right now in home runs and OPS. When it comes to the pitching in this one, Noah Syndergaard's 3-2 with a .360 ERA. Now, the Angels saw 5 out of their last 7 home games against divisional opponents fall under the posted number. Meanwhile, the Rangers on the other side of things, they went 70% to the under against the AL West on the road themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Angels minus $1.50 and the under 8 runs. Next ball game, Brewers Padres 9:40 East. Milwaukee's minus 130, total 6.5. Corbin Burns for Milwaukee, Blake Snell for San Diego. And as bad as Snell was in his season debut, the Padres are playing some really good baseball right now. They're currently on a 5-game winning streak, and they also got the W in 8 out of their last 10. And when it comes to head-to-head meetings between these two franchises, San Diego's held Milwaukee to just 3.4 runs a game in their last 10 head-to-head contests with each other. And speaking of Milwaukee, they've struggled with strikeouts at the plate. They're actually in the bottom 10 in the bigs in strikeouts per 9. Now, pitching-wise, Corbin Burns has just 1 victory on the season. When it comes to the numbers, 7 out of Milwaukee's last 10 meetings with San Diego fell under the total. So once again, if you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. Meanwhile, the Pods are 12-6 to the under at Petco Park. I'm going to lean towards San Diego plus $1.10 and the under 6.5. Next matchup, Royals Diamondbacks 9:40 p.m. East. Arizona's minus $2, totals 8.5. Zach Gallen for Arizona, Johnny Heasley for Kansas City. And even though Heasley hasn't been great, the Royals are cashing in on the run line in 50% of their road games this year. Now, hitting-wise, it's been very tough to strike these guys out on the road. This Royals lineup is in the top 5 in fewest road strikeouts at the plate. They're taking on a D-backs club who's got one of the worst lineups in the National League right now. These guys are nearly dead last in the entire league in team batting average, and they're also averaging nearly double-digit strikeouts a game at the dish. Now, when it comes to the scoring in this one, 7 out of Arizona's last 10 ball games got over the number. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the Royals went 7-3 to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Kansas City plus 1.5 and the over 8.5 runs. That's the problem with putting all your notes on your phone. You get text messages and alerts and stuff, and it distracts me. Sorry about that. Next game, A's Mariners, 9:40 p.m. East. Seattle's minus 175, total 7.5. George Kirby for Seattle, James Caprillion for Oakland. Now, the A's are amongst the best run line teams on the road this season. They're actually 17-6 against the number while traveling. That's good for 74% in that category. They're also in the top 10 in road scoring. They're led by Seth Brown and Sean Murphy, who both have combined for over 40 RBI together. Now, they're taking on a Seattle team who lost 7 out of their last 10 themselves. And they have a losing record against the run line at home. And speaking of home games, the Mariners have struggled hitting the baseball in their own building. They're currently in the bottom 10 in the bigs in home hits per contest. Now, total-wise, Seattle's 7-3 to the over in their last 10 outings. Meanwhile, Oakland went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the A's plus 1.5. And the over 7.5 runs. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be Mets-Giants, 9:45 Eastern first pitch. San Francisco's minus $1.25, total 7.5. Logan Webb for San Francisco, Chris Bassett for New York. Now, Bassett's 4-2 with a 2.77 ERA and a 1.09 whip. Now, the righty's also got 49 strikeouts on the season already. When it comes to hitting the baseball, Pete Alonso's got 11 home runs. Currently ranks second in the majors in RBI with 40. Now, no real surprise here. This Mets lineup is in the top 3 in road hits. They're taking on a San Francisco pitching staff who gives up way too many runs on their own field. They're actually in the bottom 5 in runs allowed per contest at home. Meanwhile, more recently, the Giants have dropped 7 out of their last 9 at any location. Now, total-wise, San Fran, 70% to the over in their last 10 ball games. 3-1 to the over in their last 4 at home. Meanwhile, the Mets have gone 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the New York Mets plus 105 and the over 7.5. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.